This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Applied Botanics, premium, consistent, and affordable wellness for all. Each of their products features a specialized formula with targeted terpenes to give you a CBD experience that helps you sleep better, take the edge off, and relieve your aches and pains to help you live healthy and happy. Newly added to their CBD lines, in addition to their drops, are new topicals that you can roll on and high-dose CBD edibles to help you find your balance. Visit appliedbotanics.com today and use code word Popko Project at checkout to receive 30% off your first order. Applied Botanics. Live healthy and happy. This episode of the podcast is also brought to you by Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Whether you need plants, trees, sod, mulch, rock, flowers, topsoil, grass seed, straw bales, or anything to help your lawn look its best, Keller's has you covered. Located in Exeter, Pennsylvania, near Blue Ribbon Dairy on Kern Street, mums and fall items are now available, and look for fall festival weekends at Keller's Garden Center starting September 25th and running through October 31st. Paint your own pumpkins, scavenger hunts, hay maze, face painting, and more. Check out Keller's Garden Center on social media for more information. My guests today are releasing an album together on October 1st called Blood on My Hands, which will be available on all the streaming services. We talk about the album, how they teamed up together, the role that JL Studios played not only in the process of recording the album, but also the importance it has for so many artists in northeastern Pennsylvania. We also get into some of their past music projects, and outside of the music, we discussed their experiences during COVID-19, which included some great losses, the division we are experiencing in the world that we live in, Joe Rogan being in some hot water, what the rest of 2021 has in store for each of them, and much, much more. Welcome to the show, Maine the Medicine and DUDS. And we're live, hanging out with Maine, the Medicine, and the infamous DUDS. Guys, what's going on?
Hey,
what's going on, man?
Not too much, guys. It's great to see your faces. I wish it was in person, but I'll take the computer version of your face.
Yeah,
it's good to see you.
I think this might be the most I've heard DUDS speak, by the way, in the last 30 seconds.
Nervous.
DUDS, quick question. Do you still have the fanny pack?
You know what? I was waiting on that. I left it in the other room, but I got it. But you
still have it?
I got it.
Okay. All right. That's all that matters.
I need a new sticker if you got one, though.
I have not gotten stickers made for the Popko Project, but I'll work on that.
Yeah. Let me know when you do.
Yeah. Get rid of that alt natives. That's RIP alt natives. What a shame. That still breaks my heart. Yep. It really does.
Yeah, that was such a dope show with a good platform for a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't want to talk shit on anybody that's still doing, because there are other stations in this in the northeastern PA market that are still doing local music. I still feel like they're lacking on a lot of artists that I used to play. That they could have learned a thing or two, and they could have listened and realized that those were great bands, and they could have picked them up and started playing them, but they haven't yet. And it's been, we're in September. Today is September 7th. This will probably air next week, but I've been off the air for 9, 10, 11 months now ish. Yeah. 11 months now. And it's just sad. I miss it dearly. I miss, I always said, it was my favorite hour of the work week that I didn't get paid to do. But it birthed the Popko Project, and I hope this platform still is able to, give people or guys like you a space to promote your tunes. So,
yeah.
But enough about that. We're here to talk about a collaboration, so to speak, by Maine the Medicine and DUDS. The album is due out October 1st, and it's called Blood on My Hands. And I have to say, I did not expect this to come my way. Now, Maine, I love you. You do your thing. And then Duds, obviously, he does his thing. And the idea of bringing you guys together was not on my radar. So talk a little bit about how that happened and all that, because it's an interesting dynamic. I enjoy it. But please tell me how this all started.
Well, I want to give credit to like JL Studios, because like for me in hip hop, like, you know, I'm bars, you know, I do story stuff, but like I love meshing with other genre. Like I don't want nobody to ever pigeonhole me into a certain thing. Like, you know what I mean? I want to be able to jump on a record with anybody that wants me to get on the record. You know what I mean? So like when you heard the Mike Jordan record, and you know, I did another record with a guy named J Bones, was Love Hippie Stomp, you know what I mean? So I met Duds, I think it was when the Keys was about to close, and it was like one of the last few weeks of shows. And I don't know, me and him just like started talking. It was like, oh yeah, I go to JL. And he was like, oh yeah, I know them guys too. And I'm like, oh, what's your name? He's like, well, they call me Duds, and my real name is Michael McDonald. So, you know, everybody thinks of, you know, the singer Michael McDonald. So from there, like we bonded now. And I was like, oh man, you know, I would love to do, you know, some work with you, you know, and like maybe like a year or so passed, and he was putting out one of his projects, and I was listening to the stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is dope. And I just messaged him and was like, yo, would you ever want to do like a project together? And he was like, hell yeah. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then we get to the studio, and he's actually doing beats. So now that's why when people hear the project, they probably looking like, well, where's Duds? You know, we don't hear no guitars or none of that. Duds is doing the production on the album.
Okay, because that was wild to me, because I when you sent it my way, I started listening and I'm like, where is the Duds guitar? Where is it? And I didn't hear it. That makes perfect sense now.
None at all.
So who would have thought? Yep. Who would have thought? Yeah. Duds, man of many talents, man. That's great. Sorry to cut you off there, but like I was listening to the album and I'm like, is it going to come in now? Like when's it coming? It never came.
Yeah, and the thing is, we've been working on this project. October would make pretty much a year, but like I'm the type, stuff like this I like to keep on the hush. So the only people that had kind of knew was like people that's involved, you know, on the project, like Lucas Hex and like Lambo Low, and just like, you know, just Jay and them from the studio. And then later on, I let you know about it, and like, you know, some of the, you know, like I guess media people, you know what I mean? You know, because I knew I wanted it to be like a surprise when it come out and then catch people off guard, like Maine and Duds, like, you know what I mean? So
that's how I felt when I heard about it, for sure. And I thought I heard Lucas Hex on that album too.
Yeah.
My ears did not deceive me. Shout out to him too. He just got engaged.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I told him on the thing it was about time, you know?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's Gia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, congrats, Lucas Hex and Gia, on their recent engagement. Wish you nothing but the happiness. Marriage is a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing.
Yeah, it is.
Most days. Yeah. But yeah,
listen, as a husband, I'm sure you know sometimes you just gotta roll with it, because at the end they always win. So you just roll with it. You get your little, you know, little wins here and there, but they ultimately win at the end. So
yeah, I mean, even those little wins, you can't even celebrate them because you gotta keep it down inside. Like, yes, I got that one. You can't celebrate too much because they'll bury you. They will get you. Lucas Hex, if you don't know, now you know. But yeah, so you guys, this is kind of a secret little collaboration here. And like I said, it's due out October 1st. I'm assuming it's going to be on all of the streaming platforms. So you reached out to DUDS, you met DUDS, just like, hey man, let's work on something together. DUDS, I feel like you both are keeping secrets now. I had no idea you were into the production side of things. Talk a little bit about, all that kind of stuff.
It's fairly new. I mean, I'm always down to do any musical project I can, as long as it's something I could pull off. And I mean, this is my first hip hop attempt at hip hop writing, I guess you would call it. He laid out a story for me. I started putting some tunes together that kind of fit the vibe he was describing. And I mean, he did the rest. He wrote a hell of a story, and I'm very glad to be the music behind it.
That's what was super cool about it too, because it was like a story. So, and I hate comparing, people's music to other people, but obviously, when people hear this music, they're going to kind of probably hear the same thing. But a little bit of an Eminem vibe, definitely a Biggie vibe. A lot in the, there's the segments of the songs, or not segments, the segues, or the track that they tied it to each other. It's a lot of phone calls and voicemails and things like that. And I noticed, and I don't want to give too much away, but Maine, we're talking a lot about medication and the lack of taking it. You being a different person without it. Are you trying to tell us something?
No, well, I do take a lot of medication because I had a kidney transplant 12 years ago. So I probably take about 13 pills during the day, and then like about, I think it's 9 at night. Damn. But I watch a lot of Criminal Minds and a lot of them type of shows. So I kind of always wanted to do like a concept project, and it didn't start this way. Originally we was gonna like make a different kind of song with each record, because if you listen to DUDS beats, it gives you that kind of soundtrack music to like what you would hear in like Stranger Things and all these different kind of kind of movies, that kind of music that play, So I did one song. We did about 3 songs, and then realized like the songs kind of meshed together. So kind of reworked them a little, just to kind of like dot the I's, cross the T's, make sure everything, made sense. And then from there, the rest of the songs just started building on that. You know what I mean? So pretty much, a guy that, doesn't take his meds and, he blacks out and becomes like somebody else. You know what I mean? So,
I gotcha. And one of the songs is called At the Strip Club with DUDS.
Yeah.
Did you guys have to do any kind of like research to kind of, or did that come from a place of experience?
No, well,
I'm kidding.
It was funny because the name of the song came later. Like, we did the records, and like, I don't know about everybody, but sometimes when you do a record, until you come up with a name for it, the title of it is whatever the name of the beat is. So whatever DUDS named the beat, that was what the song was titled at the time. So it could be Hip Hop Beat 4, you know what I mean, or something like that. So we had to come up with a title, and I'm like, you know, at the strip, because pretty much he's at the strip club with me, so we just named it that. Everybody, laughed and we agreed with that, so that's how that came up.
I got you. It would have been a cooler story if like it was developed or like written in your head if you were literally at the strip club.
Yeah, if that story was real, I'd probably be, on the other side of divorce papers right now, something.
I mean, that side could be cool. I'm kidding. I don't know what that side is. I don't want to know. My wife is way too attractive for me. Way smarter than I am. I don't know what I did to deserve her. I'm not trying to get divorced anytime soon.
Word.
It's fun to joke about, though. It's jokes, people.
Yeah, it's jokes.
But I mean, you said before, like you're always kind of doing something different. You did a thing about a year ago now with Ty Soul. You were featured on the record with you said his name, Mike Jordan.
Yeah,
I love that song. What's the name of that song?
Never Getting Old.
Never Getting Old. Great.
Yeah.
I always say, man, I listened to that song. Mike sent it my way, and it was good. I remember just it was a cool vibe. And then you came in, and I was like, holy shit, that just made a great song even better. Yeah, I mean, how did you and Mike meet up? Or the Mike Jordan?
Actually, that was through Joe at the studio, because the record was done already. And like when you hear it, it has like sort of like a reggae vibe to it, like with the beat, even the way he's singing it. So I guess he mentioned to Joe that it would be dope to get like a hip hop artist to like put like a verse on it. So Joe thought of me right away, you know what I mean? Because Joe knows I like to be challenged with stuff. So I knew my next session wouldn't come by the time he was supposed to like start packaging it up. So I just wrote the verse right there, you know what I mean? And when he sent it to him, he loved it. So but that song was done almost 2 years before it came out, you know what I mean? So yeah.
It sounds like a lot of cool things happen at this studio.
Oh, Joe, it's amazing there. Like that's how I met Amanda Rogan. Like she had a session before me, and I was coming in and she was still there. And, I was just sitting down and he was playing like one of the records she was on. I was like, oh my God, she's amazing. You know what I mean? And soon as she left, I was like, damn, Joe, I got to get her on the record one day. You know what I mean? And that's how the I'm Trying that you was playing, that's how that one came up. That was like maybe one of the last records for my album at the time. And I sent it to her and, she did it. And, like we became, tight. And then we ended up doing the record with Gus on, Gus the Savage. And then the one with me, Ty Soul, and Dan. So,
yeah, and then you said that's JL Studios, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And all the fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there. I was there, man. Yeah, I did a little intro for you guys, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Amanda, yeah, her voice, she is a talent. Another band. I'll go back to it. Her band is Sweet Nest. I don't think was ever featured on any other local radio station. Shameful. But I keep going back to that. I apologize. But yeah,
it's so many great artists over in bands, like between like you hear this stuff and some of it you hear, and when you listen, it's almost like you feel like you're listening to a record that should be on the radio right now. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel about Sweetness, S Dakota, University Drive, and like Fire with Friends. Like the music, like it's just like you wonder like why none of these guys didn't get their big break yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a, you know, I don't know the answers to that. I mean, I've always said I would put our local music scene up against anyone else's. There's been countless times where I've been given a song and I'm just like, wow, I would put this on the radio right now up against, Imagine Dragons that are, a massive band that I like that band when they first started, but I think their current stuff is very cookie cutter bullshit. But I'd put a lot of the artists around here on the radio against them, along with them rather, any day of the week. And it's a really incredible scene, and I feel like too, like it was still on the up, and then COVID hit back in March of 2020, and kind of let the air out of the balloon, so to speak. I hate talking about it a lot because I feel like it's all we do is talk about it. You turn on the news, it's on the news, and everywhere you go, it's people are fighting about it on Facebook and social media. I don't like talking about it, but I guess we kind of have to because it's consumed our lives for the past 18 months. How you guys can take this as a separate question, but Maine, how did the whole COVID shutdown and kind of halt on performing music and all that kind of stuff? How did that affect you and your mental state and just your life in general?
Well, it affected my life a lot because right before my mom's funeral was actually the day before COVID, everything shut down. So literally in New York, on a Saturday for my mom's funeral, and by Sunday, everything shut down. I couldn't even go see my aunt. The minute I got to the nursing home to see her, they said, we can't let you in. We was told to have emergency shutdown, and I never got a chance to see her, and she passed away like a month and a half later. And then just everything. And then my dad died in June, and I only got to see him once, and that was through a window at the nursing home he was at. You know what I mean? Because we wasn't able to go in. And it was a good thing his bed was next to the window, so he was able to hear me speaking. We brought the kids, and we all went there, and we were standing outside. It was like in February. You know what I mean? So, as far as that was rough, because I feel like the whole COVID year, I lost both parents pretty much. But I would say, even though we hate to talk about it and there was no real shows and stuff like that, I think music is what keeps everybody together. You know what I mean? Just working, because through COVID, me and DUDS worked on a project. You know what I mean? We was going, to the studio and being able to work on music kind of, I would say, helped me. You know what I mean? Because I, some people kind of maybe take a break and say it was a lot. I haven't worked on that. Music is my therapy. So I never have to fight with my wife about, I got to go to the studio, or I don't really go anywhere. So I either go to the studio or we have a show. Any place else I go is usually with my wife and the kids, you know what I mean, or whatever. So, but with studio and everything else, that's how I keep everything together, you know what I mean, and make music. That's what helps me out. So I guess that's how I got through it. So when Joe had shut down because of COVID. You know what I mean? I had helped. I started a GoFundMe for him, and I didn't even talk to him about it because the type of person Joe is, the studio, he would never agree to it. He would have said, "Nah, don't do that." but I knew he needed it. Not needed it, but it's something I wanted to do because the studio was his business, and everybody was helping out small businesses and stuff. And I'm like, Joe means a lot to a lot of us, and if he's not around or can't stay afloat, struggling to survive through this, it's a lot of us that is going to end up depressed and everything else because we have nowhere to go. Because I don't go to any other studios. Any records people need me to do that don't come to Joe's, I record mine at Joe's and I send it off to them. You know what I mean? So that's why I had started to go fund me just to, like, you know, help Joe out with any things that he still needed to do and pay, just to try to help out a little bit. Because to me, that was a small business person I had in mind. You know what I mean? Because the studio affects so many lives. There's so many people that, you know, go there. He found out anyway. Somebody saw it and was like, hey, some guy started to go, and he was like, oh yeah, I know him. That's, you know what I mean? So, but you know, I was glad to do that. I would do it again and again, you know, because that's like my therapy. That's where I go, you know. And then when we there, like, you know, also that helps with therapy is Benny's Pizza. You know what I mean? We sit there and DUDS know we go, we order that all the time. They're like, that's like our comfort food and our comfortable space. You know what I mean? So
yeah, shout out Benny's in Peckville. I had their pizza for the first time when I was in the studio with you and Ty Soul and Jay and Joe, and damn, that is good pizza.
Yeah.
And my buddy lives in Archbald, so whenever we're hanging out there, I'm like, yo, we're getting Benny's. And they had a location down in 44, I believe, like a little satellite store. And I don't know I think that building that they were in is kind of cursed because it's constantly a revolving door. I'm sure COVID had a little bit to do with them, you know, exiting that space, but I kept meaning to get over there, and because it's closer to me than Peckville is. But by the time I was able to get over there, they were gone. So Benny's, if you want to get back down this way, down in Luzerne County,
yeah,
find a new spot. Pizza's awesome. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like JL Studios is really a special place, like I said earlier, and just a place for musicians to collaborate. And I don't want to call it a safe space because that's not the word I want to use, because I think that word has been politicized enough. But yeah, just a comfort zone where you guys can just like, you know, be part of something together. And I'm sure Joe really appreciated what you did for him. And you know, it sounds like you guys take care of your own, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So DUDS, let's talk a little bit about you. I don't know how much you want to get into. I don't know the backstory. I'm sure there probably isn't one, but DUDS was a face, so to speak, or a beard in the band E57. It was brought to my attention a few months ago that DUDS was exiting the band E57. Now, was that brought on by, you know, the pandemic, and is it just, you know, did you want to focus on stuff that you're doing with Maine, or you know, kind of talk about, you know, where you are with that?
Possibly subliminally or subconsciously with the pandemic. I mean, everything changed during the pandemic. There really wasn't like any one thing that brought it to happen. It was just it felt like it was time. I felt like, at least for me, like with the band, I did everything I was going to do with the band, and just wanted to branch out. And I mean, when COVID started, I lost my job, and at that point, I was kind of at like the point in life where I'm just going to do what I want to do, what makes me happy, and that's music. So I was thinking when COVID wasn't, like, when it just started, it didn't seem so serious. I was like, okay, a couple weeks, everything will be normal again, and I'll just hit the road, try to play wherever I can, record whatever I can. And I mean, almost 2 years later, it's only gotten worse. So that didn't happen. But I've been recording a ton of solo music, collaborations like this one. Bands, I don't know. It would take like, I don't even know what it is, but something like very specific for me to do a band again. There's just so much that goes into it, and I don't want to say I'm controlling, but I like to control my art, if that makes sense. And that's not like anything to do with D57. We all had like a very good share of input and everything like that. So, and I'm still great friends with all the guys. Josh gave me a bunch of hot dogs a couple weeks ago, so that was pretty dope. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
I mean, I think, the pandemic forced a lot of people to make a lot of, decisions, whether they wanted to or not. Hopefully for the better. I think as artists, I think you're always, kind of wanting to, expand or just try different things. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, I mean, it is what it is. And I know you released kind of an instrumental EP last year, right?
Yeah, 3 of them.
3 of them.
Yeah.
On Spotify, on all the streaming services.
Yep.
I think you were one of the first artists that I played that was just instrumental on the radio.
I remember I sent it to you and I asked you if you even do that, because I know it's not a radio thing, but you were super kind about it. You even said some very nice things that I still think about and appreciate very much.
I said, fuck it. I mean, I'm not here to judge. I mean, music's music, right? And it's like, it needs to be shared. So that's another thing that was so great about that show. Like, there were no limitations. I was playing Maine stuff. I was playing rap, hip hop. I was playing country. I was playing instrumental, everything. So again, hate to go back to it, but goddamn,
it's an important thing.
I even had my father-in-law listening one time. I was like, "Oh, Pop, they about to play my stuff on the radio," and he kind of looked at me like, because I joke with him a lot, and sometimes he don't know when to take me serious, so sometimes he'll just play along with me like I'm joking, and then it started playing, and he was like, "Oh, you were serious?" I was like, "Yeah," So.
That's funny. That's cool. Yeah, I feel like that show was, to me, what JL Studios is to you guys. So
I totally agree with that.
We'll see. We'll see what happens down the road. I don't know.
Yeah, but you still you still took that. Now you're giving a platform to the artists now, because now they can hear the stories behind the songs and what's going on, and like kind of sometimes you can listen to an interview and kind of like fall in love with the artist, and you might not even hear a record from them, and you'll go, "Oh, make me want to go listen to their whole project." You know what I'm saying? So so this is just as important as that was. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you. I hope so. I hope it can continue to be that for everyone. I when it happened, I was like, you know what? I need you guys more than you need me. That's how I felt, man. I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I felt like that was like, I don't want to say it was my calling by any means, because like I was never on the radio before. I'd had no professional experience with doing it, but when it was over, I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, that was like seriously my favorite hour of the week that I didn't get paid for. Like, what do I do now? Like, that was like my identity was like Popko of Alt Natives and sharing the music you guys put out. And I was like, what do I do now? Who am I? And I felt like I seriously, and to this day, I'll say the same thing. I feel like I need you guys more than you need me.
Nah, I think it's both ways. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. And it's funny too, because when you did the skit for us, I mean, I'm sure this was probably in the making, like an idea for you. You hadn't said it to us, but if you remember, I told you that voice wise and stuff, you remind me of Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? So now, like you have your, and then it's crazy because you have the dopest name. Popko. I'm gonna be on Popko tonight. You know what I mean? You don't have to like say no long thing or whatever. It's just Popko. You know what I mean? So I think that's cool right there.
Well, Joe Rogan's in some hot water right now.
Yeah, I heard.
But, everyone keeps asking me, like, oh, your boy Joe Rogan, he's taking horse medicine, blah, blah, blah. And I haven't talked about it publicly yet. This will be the first time. And I'll say it to you guys since you brought it up. I feel like I wish Joe Rogan did not say, how he or what he took, when he got COVID. Because whether he likes it to believe it or not, he's a very powerful influence. People will listen to him and they will blindly do whatever he says, right? I'm guilty. If he promotes Black Rifle Coffee, I've purchased Black Rifle Coffee. I'm actually wearing one of his shirts right now. If he told me, I'm just trying to think of examples of things that I've purchased because he was drinking a whiskey on his show with a guest, and I went out and bought the Scotch whiskey, and I don't even like Scotch that much, but I went out and bought it because he was drinking it. Now, when it comes to medicine and all that kind of stuff, I'm not going to run out and do whatever Joe Rogan does, But I feel like the media is just as guilty for spreading misinformation as he may be. So, because also people don't understand that there is ivermectin that, like for humans. Okay, there's not proof. The FDA is not approved it as a medication for COVID, but there's ivermectin for humans, and there are also for animals. Joe Rogan didn't take the ivermectin that animals use, right? Well, that's given to animals. But the media is not saying that. All the headlines read are, Joe Rogan takes horse dewormer ivermectin when he got COVID. Every single headline talks about that, the horse dewormer as ivermectin. They don't talk about the ivermectin for humans and, the pros and cons of what that might be. I don't know. I'm not going to get into it. But the media is just as guilty for spreading the misinformation as he is, if not worse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think Joe has to understand that, people listen to what he says.
But at the same time, he's being honest. Like, he's not telling you to take it. He just said that's what he took. You know what I mean? Which he can say it because he's the one that did. It's like things now is so crazy that you say one thing and everybody want to jump down your throat and cancel you. Everything is so weird now.
Yeah, it is weird. It's.
I mean, I took the shot. We still now don't even know a year later if we're gonna have plants growing out our arms or something. Like, we don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm vaccinated. I mean, I follow the science. My wife's a pharmacist. She's far smarter than I am, and it's such a weird thing to try and navigate through, because and this tribal mentality that we all have with each other has got to stop, because it's like, you know what, Maine, if you don't believe in the vaccine, if you're not vaccinated, and I am, fuck you. Fuck you. And it's like, where did we go wrong?
I know. What? I'm vaccinated, but I still wear my mask. Me and the kid, you know what I mean?
So
and I get the looks at me as if like people stare at us, and I'm trying to figure out like why. Like, but then I'm thinking about it. They're probably thinking maybe I'm one of the people that haven't taken. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know,
who would have thought a mask could be so like defining?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I just think as a society we're it's so messed up. I mean, it's funny too because you'll see people on social media and they're doctors themselves, like they're not really, and they'll start talking shit like, oh, if you're not vaccinated, like, I don't feel sorry for you. I hope you like get sick and you die or whatever it might be, right? But let's say that person who's saying that shit, let's say they have a mother or father or grandmother, whatever it might be, that they don't feel comfortable taking the vaccine. Now, if that person in their family got sick, I'm pretty sure they'd be singing a different tune. They wouldn't be thinking, oh, well, hey, mom or dad, you didn't get vaccinated. I hope you fucking die. Not going to happen. But how terrible is it that this is what's happening?
I have a similar story because, like, my wife's a ER nurse at Geisinger. So, like, when everybody was saying how fake this was, she was coming home telling me the stories, like people that didn't know they had it, people that was dying and everything else. But I'm no names or nothing, but there's someone she knows right now was so like, they spew a lot of hate with certain stuff and sometimes, and they was completely against the vaccination and, oh, it's not real, this and that. And right now they loved one is clinging on to life.
Yeah.
Because they have it, you know what I mean? And, it's to each his own. I'm not going to knock the people that didn't, because everybody has their reasons. I just don't like I don't like people that are just stand in the middle of a bunch of people and smoke and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? Because I just think like with the climate, I'm like, that's, go to a corner somewhere or something, you know what I mean? But, it's to each his own. Like I got it personally because, I have kidney issues, blood pressure and different things. So it was, I thought for me, it was in my best interest, to get it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and another thing they were saying, like, if you're healthy people stand a better chance of, if they get it, fighting it off and successfully beating it. But, they're not talking about, getting healthy. They're not talking about that. They're just saying, hey, take this vaccine.
Yeah.
Like, again, I'm vaccinated. Like, I follow the science. I don't want to make this a debate, and people will.
Yeah, I know.
So we'll leave it at that. But you know what? You guys are healthy. You're safe. So that's all that matters to me. And we'll see what happens. But that's all I got for you guys tonight. Where can people find your music coming out on October 1st?
It'll be on all the platforms, Spotify, iTunes, it'll show up on YouTube after a while. And we're in the process now of shooting a video, you know what I mean? And then we was trying to figure out, because, DUDS is not a man of many words, at times, but we was trying to figure out, like, when it's time to perform, how would we do it? Because it's not him playing the guitar, it's actually, tracks. So, but we're working on it. Like, we're working on it with the band I work with Mercy, with my group Mercy Gang. So, we're going to be, because Joe actually wants us to perform at, during the conference for the Steamtown Awards.
Right.
So that'll probably be the first time we'll, perform some of the tracks from the album.
I was going to ask you if this is conducive to performing live. So that's so thanks for answering that before I even asked you, because I'd be curious.
Yeah, we had to, I mean, either way we was gonna, do it. We just wanted to figure out a way, we could do it that both of us would be like, included. Cause I told Duz, I said we'd end up like, I don't know if you remember back in the days with, Public Enemy, you had like some of them that just stood there like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? So, but
you need some of those guys, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we'd figure it out, because it's, but what I want people to take from this project is like, I mean, I'm not going crazy. I don't have mental issues or nothing like that. I like to be creative, and I watch a lot of movies. I always wanted to, do a project like this. So, and then, we add the humor in there along with, some of the gruesomeness, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I wanted it to be like you're listening to a movie,
right.
And that's what the aim of it was, you know what I mean? So,
well, you nailed it. Again, Maine the Medicine and DUDS. Record's called Blood on My Hands, due out October 1st. Check it out on all the streaming services, guys. I am happy to have been able to have some time with you guys tonight. And I always say I hope I'll see you sooner than later.
Hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. Right. And we DUDS has projects coming out. I also have other projects coming out, and we're also working on another project that it's in the early stages, but we've started, and it won't be like this one, but in the future we might do a part 2. So, but we have another project we're working on that's going to be different, but it's going to be pretty big with the ideas we have in mind, for it.
Very cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that too, and keep me posted with everything, and anything I can do to help out, I most certainly will.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys. Well, until I see you, stay safe and stay healthy, and I'll talk to you soon.
See you, Popko.
Thanks, Popko.
Right. Thanks, guys.